What's the most satisfying tables-turned moment you've witnessed in court? My buddy Dave was getting sued by his landlord for $12,000 in damages. The guy claimed Dave trashed his apartment and wanted money for new floors, paint, appliances, the works. I went with Dave to court because he was freaking out. He'd lived in that place for 3 years and kept it spotless. Always vacuumed twice a week, never left dishes in the sink, even fixed minor stuff himself to avoid bothering anyone. But his landlord, this guy named Tony, had professional photos showing destroyed walls, broken windows, and a flooded kitchen. Tony wore an expensive suit and brought his fancy lawyer. Dave had a public defender who looked like she graduated law school yesterday. The whole thing seemed hopeless. Tony's lawyer presented the damage photos first. Holes punched in drywall, cabinet doors hanging off hinges, carpet stained beyond repair. The judge looked disgusted. Tony took the stand acting all sad about his ruined property, said Dave was the worst tenant he'd ever had, claimed Dave threw parties every night, refused to pay rent, and basically destroyed 3 years of his hard work fixing up the place. Dave's lawyer asked Tony when he discovered the damage. The day after he moved out, I went in to inspect and couldn't believe what I saw. She asked if he had before photos of the apartment's condition. Tony said no, but insisted it was perfect when Dave moved in. Then Dave's lawyer asked something weird. Mr. Tony, how many rental properties do you currently own? Tony looked confused. Just this one. It's my only investment property. That's when Dave's lawyer smiled and said, Your Honor, I'd like to present some evidence that contradicts that statement. She pulled out a stack of papers. Turns out Tony owned 14 rental properties across town. And not just any properties, slumlord properties with dozens of housing code violations. The lawyer had done her homework. She'd requested records from the city inspector's office and found Tony's name attached to over 60 violations in the past 2 years. Broken heating systems, mold problems, illegal electrical work. But here's where it got interesting. She showed the court photos from inside Tony's other apartments. Same exact damage patterns as in Dave's place. Holes in the exact same spots on the walls. Identical cabinet damage. Even the carpet stains looked identical. Tony started sweating. The judge asked to see the photos side by side. Dave's lawyer explained that she'd interviewed 3 other tenants who'd been sued by Tony for the exact same damages. Same photos, same $12,000 amount. All 3 had paid rather than fight in court. One tenant even secretly recorded Tony bragging about his scam at a bar downtown. In the recording, Tony laughed about how he'd damage apartments himself after tenants moved out, then sue them for repairs. Easy money from people too scared to fight back. The judge was furious. He dismissed the case immediately and ordered Tony to pay Dave's legal fees. But it got better. Dave's lawyer had contacted the district attorney's office before the hearing. 2 detectives were waiting in the hallway to arrest Tony for fraud. Turns out those other tenants he'd scammed had also come forward after his lawyer found them. Tony got charged with multiple counts of tenant fraud and insurance fraud. The state discovered he'd been filing false damage claims with his insurance company too, collecting payouts for the same fake damage. As they handcuffed him right there in the courthouse, Tony tried to claim it was all a misunderstanding. The detective just laughed and said, Tell it to the judge. Oh wait, you already did? Dave ended up getting back his entire security deposit plus interest. Tony's lawyer quietly slipped out during the arrest, probably regretting taking the case. The best part, within a week, 8 more of Tony's former tenants came forward with similar stories. The guy had been running this scam for years. He lost all his properties, spent 18 months in prison, and had to pay back over $200,000 in fraudulent charges. Dave moved into a much better apartment and still laughs about watching his scumbag landlord get arrested in his expensive suit while trying to scam an honest guy who just wanted a clean place to live.